All right, Jason, how do you decompose user stories into really small pieces?
There's a couple different ways that this can go, and there's one that I think works really well, and there's one that I think is going to take you in the wrong direction. So one way I see teams decompose user stories is by tasks. And so they'll look at a user story. Let's say it's something that's on a website. And on the website, there's some UI work, stuff that the user clicks and touches and sees. There's some database work. There's maybe some middleware business logic work. And there's maybe some other tasks, design tasks and testing tasks and things like that. And they'll chunk that out into those sort of component level pieces. And it's like, okay, I'm going to have a database story over here and a UI story over here and, a design story over here. And the problem with that is that none of those pieces individually result in any value. You have to do all of those different pieces in order to get value. And the whole idea of a user story is that when it's done, the user should get real usable value. So I don't think that's the way to go at all. I've sometimes called those like component level user stories, or more accurately, they're just not user stories anymore. They're just sort of tasks that are at the component level. A better way is if you can imagine all those components that I just listed off stacked vertically like layers in a cake. If you can vertically slice that user story into smaller pieces so that I'm getting a slice through all those layers, but it's end to end. It's all the way from, the back end database, or, this is very software centric, but all the back end database or whatever to all the way up to the UI, touching all those pieces such that the user gets real deliverable value at the end. So a very common one is, I want to have a shopping cart on my website. Well, that's too big for a sprint. I need to break that up. Okay. Add item to cart. That's a real piece of value that I could deliver in a sprint. Reorder the cart or change the quantity or the checkout process or take a payment. Like each of those things are end-to-end pieces of value that users can get real value of. And then once you break them down to smaller pieces like that, chances are they're not all the same priority level. Like the shopping cart, add to cart's really important, take payment's really important, but maybe I can live for a few sprints without save for later or change quantity. What were you going to
And another thing on that same subject is when you've got a team, say I've got 8 members on my team, 2 of them know front end work, one of them knows the database work, the rest of them, 5, 6, whatever, 7, all know the middleware work or all the API stuff.
Right.
Well, what if I thin slice the work and it turns out that the brunt of the work is on the database and the front end, but the people in the middle are just sitting around with their thumbs twiddled? So now you got to ask yourself, do you compose your team then of user interface people and take user interface stories so that you can keep your middleware people focused on middleware user stories? The place you put yourself into there is, now I've got my middleware people working on low priority stuff and never learning to cross-train on other areas of the application. So do you maintain specialist thinking, or do you aim for generalist or generalizing specialists while building these teams such that when you thin slice work, you can get value delivered by a single team? This is just a recent hot topic for me, so I just wanted to chime in with that.
Yeah, those two are really related. Click the thumbs up to let us know you like the video. Subscribe if you'd like more of our videos in your feed, and maybe even hit that bell to get notified when we've got more videos for you.
Sometimes YouTube notifications don't actually go out and you won't be notified. So we've solved this problem. Click the link in the description to join our exclusive mailing list so we can send you an email every time one of our newest videos comes out. You'll be glad you did.